Basketball fans, and more importantly, Raptor fans for myself, the season is finally upon us. These 4 games have dragged on, haven't they? I mean, with the long gaps in between them as well, then you play a team that's not even in the NBA. Holy smokes, it drags out, but we are finally here. The NBA gets going on Tuesday with 2 matchups there, but the Raptors get their season going on Wednesday night, 7:30 tip-off at Scotiabank Arena for Game 1 of 82. What we're going to cover in this video is what my expectations for this team are, and for this team to succeed, what needs to happen. And it's pretty simple stuff, but I'll break it down for you. First things first, let's start with what I believe that this 2023-2024 Toronto Raptors is all about. Well, I think the ceiling for the Toronto Raptors is, the 5-6 seed. Because the reason I say that is you look at the teams that are guaranteed. You know Boston's going to be up there. You know Milwaukee. They're in their own tier. So there's 2 spots gone. I presume Cleveland will be great. So there's 3. Philly, as wonky as it is, they'll be good. So there's 4. And that's where I live, in that 5-6 seed spot. You can squint and see Brooklyn and Miami. The Knicks, sure. Right? But if you're the Toronto Raptors, with the talent that this team has, and with the new schemes that Darko Rajakovic is implementing in this team, it's intriguing to see what these guys will do. It really and truthfully will be fun to watch. And that right there, that statement right there, is the one I'm just tickled pink about. The reason I say that is because last year sucked. I mean, we can speak for most Raptor fans when last year blew. It was not fun to watch. Now, I know preseason is preseason, and you were undefeated, so I guess it looks great. But the team basketball looked a lot more fun. Ball moving around like crazy, and this leads me into what this team needs to do to get to that 5 seed, to get to that 6 seed. And hey, who knows? They may exceed more expectations. I think the over-under was like 36.5 wins for this Raptor team. Slap that over hard. I would be shocked if they go under on that. But hey, you never know in sports. An injury here, an injury there. And next thing you know, you're in the basement. But for on paper, this Raptor squad, they should be in the 5-6 spot. That's kind of where I'm sitting. I'd love to see them, overachieve. And with the new additions, and with Fred not here, they overachieve and they get in the 4 seed. They jump a Philly or something like that. That'll be, especially Philly, because Nick Nurse, that'll be funny with all the James Harden nonsense they're dealing with now as well. But what do the Raptors need to do to get to that spot? And it starts with Scottie Barnes. Because we've seen Pascal average great numbers. At one point last year, he was getting close to averaging a triple-double, like in that range. And your team is no good. Now, obviously, defensively, this team is a lot different. They're not the Nick Nurse defense where it's scramble, switch, double like crazy, and just fly around like nutcases, which led to a lot of corner threes for opposing teams. If you looked at the preseason, a lot more sound. And they just looked, I don't know, the energy was there. Now, could that just be early season stuff? It could be. But Scottie Barnes taking that next step, and maybe not being like the superstar, but taking that next step. He's averaged like 15-8 or 15-7 basically his entire career so far. And those were his last 2 seasons' averages. You want to see him average, 18, 19, and 8 or something like that. You want to see him take that next step on both ends of the ball. Now, presuming he's fine after that ankle stuff we saw in the last preseason game, he's the big X factor this year. You know what you're going to get from Pascal Siakam. You know Dennis Schroeder's not going to he's not going to overdo things. He's not, I hate to bash Fred a little bit here, but he's not going to be like Fred. He's not going to demand the ball. And he's not going to the ball's not going to stick in his hands for 20 seconds and then look for 4 seconds to do something. No. Dennis Schroeder's not going to do that. Right? OG Anunoby, again, you know what you're getting defensively from him, and with the ball in Scotty's hands more, the ball in Pascal's hands more, and the spacing, OG's going to get his looks. Jakob Poeltl, a full year with Big Yak. We know defensively they got a lot better last year with Jakob Poeltl in the lineup. You got to keep that going. For him, it's stay out of foul trouble. Like, how many times last year did we talk about Yak and five fouls in the first, 15 minutes? And we're like, my God, that's why he only played 22 minutes this game, right? Stuff like that. And sure, obviously Pascal Siakam, sure, I don't know how you can take, well, I guess another step would be consistently knocking down threes, but we'll see. And the thing that I like about this is you're going to see more players. How many times last year did we see Nick Nurse play 8 guys? And have your top 4 dudes play 40-plus minutes. It's painful to watch. It really is, because they die out near the end. And how many times last year did we see the Raptors blow a lead or be dang right abysmal in the final 5 minutes of game? Yeah, because your team's exhausted. So that's not going to happen this year. You're going to see a lot more. I got the list here. You're going to see Otto Porter. God forbid he stays healthy. Probably not much of Thad Young. You're going to see Jalen McDaniels, who I loved in the preseason. You're going to see more of him. Chris Boucher, obviously. Precious Achiuwa, you want to see him take that next step. Gary Trent Jr., can he facilitate the ball a little bit? If he can pass the ball around, my God, that would just add just another weapon to his arsenal. Right? We talked about Dennis Schroeder, Malachi Flynn, Grady Dick, a 3-point shooter off the bench, at least to start. I mean, you got different looks now. You know Darko's going to use his bench a little more. So let's see what happens. It's an intriguing year. I'm excited. Do I think things are going to be a lot different than last year? Well, for our viewing's sake, I hope so. But for the Toronto Raptors, I don't know what to expect. But you need someone to take that jump. Whether that's one of the veterans, like an OG, jumping to 23 points a game because without Fred, the ball's going to be in his hands a little bit more. Or like I said, Scotty Barnes taking that next step. If Gary Trent can take that next step in facilitating the ball a little bit more, it changes the entire dynamic of the offense. And with him, because he's probably going to be the 6th man to start, he'll run that bench unit. He'll have shooters with him. He'll have Grady Dick. You know, he'll have Boucher. He'll have Precious Achiuwa, which I wouldn't really call them shooters. You'll have Jalen McDaniels. You'll have options. And I'm very intrigued to see how Gary runs that. Because he didn't do a great job last year with the bench. So let's see what happens here. I'm jacked up. I'm ready to get going. Preseason basketball stinks. And we're ready to get going for opening night on Wednesday. All right, so you know what, guys? That's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and are pumped for Raptor basketball to be being back and kind of a nice little restart for Raptor fans with a new coach, new scheme, new dynamic on offense. No Fred. It's going to be a lot different basketball. I'm excited. What are your thoughts in the comments below? Let me know all that great stuff. Hit that like button, subscribe, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff is down below. So follow up there if you're not done so already. And I will be more active on on X, excuse me, during games. So if you want to go follow up down below, that'll be awesome. And we'll get that thing rolling during the season. It'll be a lot of fun. Obviously, there will be some games that I can't do, but for the most part, I want to be able to do in-game tweeting for you guys to interact with me, and we can all interact together on that kind of stuff. Maybe TikTok lives. I don't know. Something I've definitely thought about moving forward. But Raptor fans, can't wait. We'll talk to you guys Leafs edition, though. That'll be Tuesday night as they are in... Where the hell are they? Not Buffalo. Why did I think it was Buffalo? Where are they on to? Washington. They're in Washington taking on the Capitals in Washington. I think it's a 7 o'clock. No, it's a 6 o'clock puck drop. A really weird one in there on Tuesday evening. But as for the Toronto Raptors, they're back in action. They're back in action in a meaningful way on Wednesday night as they start the season off against the Minnesota Timberwolves at Scotiabank Arena. 7:30 tip-off there. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And of course, are ready for the season to get going. I'll talk to you guys then.